Hi Reds! Manchester United's summer transfer window is continuing to gather pace, and there are now several fascinating developments surrounding the squad as Michael Carrick looks to build a team capable of competing at the highest level once again. With the new season getting closer and United still looking to strengthen in key areas, the latest transfer stories involve Lewis Hall, Marcus Rashford, Lamine Camara, Eduardo Camavinga and Lewis-Skelly. Let's start with Lewis Hall because this could be one of the most interesting situations to watch in the remaining part of the summer window. According to reports from The Sun, the Newcastle United left-back wants to join Manchester United and has made his desire to leave Newcastle clear. United have already made contact with Newcastle to explore the possibility of a deal, but the Magpies have made their position equally clear. Hall is not for sale. That puts Newcastle in a very strong negotiating position. Hall is still under contract until 2029, meaning Newcastle have no immediate pressure to cash in on the England international. From United's perspective, however, the attraction is obvious. The 21-year-old can provide energy, quality and versatility on the left side, and his ability to contribute both defensively and in possession makes him an appealing option for Carrick. The biggest question is therefore not whether Manchester United like Lewis Hall. They clearly do. The real question is whether United are prepared to pay the kind of money Newcastle would demand for a player they have publicly indicated is not available. Could Hall's desire to play at Old Trafford eventually change the situation? That is something we will have to watch closely. Football transfers can change very quickly when a player makes his preference known, but Newcastle are under no obligation to sell. United may have to decide whether Hall is worth pushing hard for or whether they should move towards alternative targets. And then there is Marcus Rashford. Rashford's Manchester United future has been one of the biggest talking points surrounding the club for months, but the situation now appears to be moving in a very different direction. Michael Carrick has made it clear that Rashford has returned to the group in good condition and is being treated like any other Manchester United player. Carrick said, "He's our player. He's come back great. He's just like any other player. I've known him a long time, and he gives us something a little bit different. We're looking forward to the start of the season." That is a very interesting message from the manager. Rather than speaking about Rashford as a player who could leave, Carrick is talking about him as part of his plans. The England international has returned to the squad, has been integrated into pre-season, and is now being considered alongside the rest of the Manchester United players. For me, this is one of the biggest developments of the summer. Rashford has already experienced a difficult period, but if Carrick can get him playing with confidence again, Manchester United could suddenly have a player capable of making a huge difference. We all know what Rashford can do when he is confident, fit, and attacking defenders with freedom. Could this be the beginning of a new chapter for Rashford at Old Trafford? At the moment, it certainly looks possible. Unless a major offer or unexpected development changes the situation, Rashford appears increasingly likely to remain a Manchester United player this summer. And imagine the reaction if Rashford starts the season strongly. Imagine him getting back to his best, scoring important goals and becoming one of the faces of Carrick's Manchester United project. Again, would that be one of the biggest comebacks of the season? Moving into midfield, Manchester United have reportedly made an inquiry for AS Monaco midfielder Lamine Camara. The Senegalese midfielder is reportedly valued at around £42 million, while other clubs are also showing interest. Crystal Palace have already made an offer, meaning United could face competition if they decide to take their interest further. Camara is another name worth watching because Manchester United's midfield remains one of the most important areas of recruitment this summer. The club need players who can add energy, athleticism, technical quality and defensive strength, particularly after the injury situation surrounding Manuel Ugarte. An inquiry does not mean a transfer is close, but it does show that United are continuing to explore different possibilities. The club cannot afford to focus on just one target. especially at this stage of the window. And then we come to perhaps the most exciting name on the list, Eduardo Camavinga. According to The Athletic, Manchester United have expressed interest in the Real Madrid midfielder, who has once again appeared on the club's radar. What makes Camavinga particularly interesting is his versatility. United are looking for a player capable of operating in midfield, but also covering the left-back position when required. Camavinga has already demonstrated that versatility at the highest level. He is naturally a midfielder, but his ability to play at left-back gives a team enormous tactical flexibility. From a Manchester United perspective, that could be extremely valuable. Imagine having a player who can start in midfield but move into the left-back position when injuries, tactical changes, or match situations demand it. In a long Premier League season, versatility can be incredibly important. However, there is one obvious problem: Real Madrid. Camavinga is an elite-level player at one of the biggest clubs in world football, so convincing Madrid to sell him would be extremely difficult. United may have an interest, but interest and availability are two very different things. Would Camavinga even be available this summer? Would Real Madrid listen to an offer? And if they did, how much would United have to spend? Those are the questions that could determine whether this story develops into something serious. United fans should also keep an eye on Lewis-Skelly, although the current situation appears much clearer. Manchester United were reportedly sounded out about the Arsenal youngster, with an intermediary offering him to United and other clubs around January. The reported asking price at the time was around £60 million, but United rejected that valuation. That decision is important because it shows that Manchester United are not simply going to spend money for the sake of spending money. The club have to make difficult decisions about value, squad balance, and the positions that require strengthening most urgently. Lewis-Skelly is a hugely talented young player, but United apparently do not consider him a priority at this moment. And when you put all these stories together, you can see the bigger picture. Manchester United are looking for versatility. They want players who can give Carrick different tactical options. They want a stronger midfield. They want more quality on the left side. They want players capable of competing physically in the Premier League, while also having the technical ability to play in a possession-based system. That is why names such as Lewis Hall and Camavinga are particularly interesting. Hall can strengthen the left side, while Camavinga could potentially offer solutions in both midfield and defence. Lamine Camara represents another midfield option, while Rashford staying would give Carrick an attacking player who offers something different in the final third. For me, the most intriguing situation is still Lewis Hall. If the player genuinely wants Manchester United and Newcastle continue to insist that he is not for sale, this could become one of those transfer sagas that runs right until the final days of the window. Would you pay Newcastle's asking price for Lewis Hall? Would you rather Manchester United spend that money on a midfielder? And what about Eduardo Camavinga? If Real Madrid made him available, should United go all out to sign him, even if it means spending a huge part of the transfer budget? Personally, I think Camavinga would be an outstanding addition because his versatility could solve more than one problem. But Manchester United also have to be careful. The club cannot build a squad simply by collecting big names. Every signing must fit Carrick's football, improve the starting 11, and provide genuine value. As for Rashford, I would love to see him get another opportunity under Carrick. The important thing now is not what happened in the past. The important thing is what Rashford does from this point forward. If he works hard, stays fit, responds to Carrick's demands and starts producing on the pitch, there is no reason why he cannot become an important player for Manchester United again. The season is approaching, Reds, and the transfer window is far from finished. United are still exploring options. Newcastle are refusing to sell Lewis Hall. Rashford appears increasingly likely to stay. Lamine Camara is another midfielder on the radar. Camavinga has returned to the conversation because of his ability to cover midfield and left-back, while United have already rejected the opportunity to pursue Lewis-Skelly at the reported £60 million valuation. So the big question is simple: what should Manchester United do next? Should Carrick and the recruitment team go all in for Lewis Hall? Should they prioritise a new defensive midfielder instead? Is Camavinga the dream signing if Real Madrid are willing to negotiate? And can Marcus Rashford finally rediscover his best form in a Manchester United shirt? The final weeks of the summer window could be absolutely fascinating. Let me know your thoughts, Reds. Who should Manchester United sign next? And would you keep Marcus Rashford at Old Trafford?